Hey, this is Darryl Webster, and we have a question about how to manage a OneNote Class Notebook when it's been created in a Microsoft Classroom. There are two different areas that the notebooks are stored in when you're creating a notebook, whether it be from the OneNote Class Notebook tile or from within a Microsoft Classroom. First of all, we'll look at where it's stored in the Microsoft Classroom and how to manage that. So we've got a classroom here, the 8th grade biology class. I've created a class notebook, and here it is. It's running in the OneNote Online as an experience. And when we want to manage that notebook, we are best to do it within the classroom environment. So you go through to your Manage Tools, and you'll be able to go to a tab that's dedicated to managing the notebook, where you can add additional sections that will appear in the student sections. You can update the teachers as per the teachers that might have been, or students that might have been added to your classroom. Lock the collaboration space. But yeah, it's best to manage it from the classroom environment. What we have found is that when you go through to the class notebook experience in OneNote Online, perhaps even the class notebook tools on your desktop, whether it be the Windows 10 app or the full suite app within Office Pro Plus, that if you click through to the class notebook tools here, they're going to point you back to managing the notebook within the OneNote Class Notebook tile or the application. And this is the application that was available before Microsoft Classroom. So if you click through to managing those notebooks, what you will find when you try to manage notebooks that are within the classroom environment, that they won't be appearing here to be managed. What will appear there is if you create notebooks that are created from the class notebook tile. So if we created a class notebook from this experience, which we've had for a couple of years now, and as I reiterate, before Microsoft Classroom, the notebooks that are created from within this experience are stored within the user's OneDrive for Business. So this is where the notebooks were stored and then shared out with students, and then you are able to run your classroom from within a OneDrive experience. The Microsoft Classroom is an improvement on this because the notebook will now be stored within the classroom environment, which is within a team site, and that belongs to multiple people rather than it sitting in just a teacher's OneDrive. So it's the preferable place to be storing those notebooks. So if we have a quick look about where those notebooks are stored, if we go through to the Microsoft Classroom experience to start with, and we look into files, we'll just have, just as this loads up, what it's going to do is take us through to the files that you might have uploaded for assignments and resources that you might be sharing with your students. But in the background is a Microsoft SharePoint team site, and what I'll be showing you is how to find where that notebook is stored. You don't really need to know where to benefit from the classroom environment, but it's just a good place to know where that notebook sits, and so also not to play with it and break it. So if we go through to site contents, as a teacher, you'll be a owner of this site, so you should be able to get through to this area, and certainly your IT staff. And your notebook will be sitting in the a library that's part of a SharePoint team site by default. The library is called Site Assets, and it's quite crucial to how a site runs. So it's been good practice now for the classroom environment to store the notebook within the Site Assets library. So if we go through and have a look at that, please excuse the choppers in the background. I live near a hospital. And we'll go through to the Site Assets library, and then we should eventually, after it loads, see the class notebook stored within there, along with a few other assets that are part of the there we go, part of the site experience. So there's our 8th grade biology class notebook, and any additional sites or notebooks that we might create could be stored within there. Whereas with a OneDrive created notebook, if it was created from within here, we will then see, if we go through to our OneDrive screamingly fast VDSL here in Auckland, New Zealand. Here we go. Oop. A little bit of patience. Go through to OneDrive. And for those of you who have been using the OneNote Class Notebook for a couple of years now, you would have noticed where these are stored to. That as I go through to OneDrive, there'll be a Class Notebooks folder, and then each of my class notebooks will be stored within that area too. Now that folder may not exist in this profile because I haven't created a class notebook yet, but this is where it will sit within the files within, oh, there we go, within notebooks, and then that could be shared out to my class. So there's the two differences. Still just reiterating there that if you're wanting to manage that classroom environment and managing the notebook, that you're best to go to the Manage tab, and then using the Notebook tab within that. If you're not seeing that tab, then do call out to Microsoft support, and the great team there will be helpful in trying to get that appear, and certainly getting you on your way to managing your class notebook. Thanks for watching.